to introduce herself.
Yeah, good evening, everyone. Myself, Sonia Sani. By education and qualification, I'm a food technologist and MBA and HRD, having total 24 experience in food line, 12 years in industry, and from last 12 years, I'm in this field of management system, consultancy, trainings, and auditing, lead auditor for various management system. I'm also QCI, NBQP, and PIDA approved FSMS consultant, attached with FSSI as a fast track trainer, food safety trainer. I'm based at Jaipur and running my own consultancy, specifically in the field of food safety. Thank you very much. Over to Yogesh ji. Thank you.
Thank you, madam. Thank you to have you over here. Please support me wherever you feel something needs to be
Definitely,
added.
definitely. Oh, yes.
We go by definition which is there in ISO 22000 also, and which is very widely circulated. Validation as regards to food safety is obtaining evidence that a control measure for combination of control measures will be capable of effectively controlling the significant food safety hazard. Validation is performed at the time of control measure combination is designed or whenever changes are made to the implemented control measure. Verification definition is confirmation through the provision of objective evidence that specified requirements have been fulfilled. So one is used in while designing the system and establishing control measures and related control limits, and second is used when we want to verify whether the control limits are exercised and they are well within our limits. So validation is applied to prior to an activity and provides information about the capability to deliver intended result, whereas monitoring is done by operator, applied during an activity, and provides whether the action we are taking is within limits and within a specified time frame. Verification is but an activity done by a superior to understand whether the monitoring activity has been right and has been taking on right time. So it confirms whether the system that we have designed is being operated as intended. What are the objectives of validation and verification? First, we need to understand that validation and verification is sixth principle of HACCP. Even though it is sixth, validation comes when we establish critical control points and related critical limits. Those critical limits generally gets established through the support of validation. The two objectives of validation are to determine if the plan is valid, that validation plan is valid, that it is adequate to control hazards associated with the product when the plan is properly implemented, and to verify that the system, HACCP system or food safety system, is operating according to the plan. That is, that the plan is being followed. Now, the limitation that we generally have, lot of food safety team members and lot of practitioners of food safety find is the distinction between verification and validation is not very clear. The distinction between monitoring and verification is not very clear. So we are going to try to see into these two aspects. We will first look into validation. So validation, for example, a microbiological hazard of presence of pathogen. We will have a kill step in process like baking, roasting, extruding, or frying in our process flow. Now that kill step cannot be verified through objective testing after every lot of the food process, and therefore we need a scientific evidence which can prove that at a given temperature a particular pathogen is killed. So a scientific or technical regulatory backup is required so that not all lots of products require conformity testing involving lot of time, waiting for the food lots to be declared as conforming, and lot of money involved in the testing also. So validation then is essentially a collection of proof that a process involving chemical, physical, biological input is consistently delivering a desired effect to ensure the destruction of pathogenic microorganisms. As far as microbiological aspect is concerned, generally measured in log reduction. So we have several methods for validation. The methods are required to ensure that control measures are achieving intended purpose and the limits are not breached. So for milk pasteurization process, since the pasteurization word comes from Dr. Louis Pasteur, who came up with the scientific finding that at 72 degrees centigrade, if milk is heated for 15 seconds, the pathogenic bacteria gets killed. Now this time temperature scale is different for different temperature. So at 63 degrees centigrade, the milk has to be heated for 30 minutes. But when we want to kill all the bacteria, then we'll have to have sterilization process. For in-bottle sterilization, this limit is between 105 to 110 degrees centigrade. The time required is 30 to 45 minutes. For ultra high temperature, short time or aseptic method, packaging is done after heat treatment. There the temperature needs to be taken as high as 135 to 150 degrees centigrade, but the time can be shortened to about 1 to 20 seconds only. So depending upon the type of process we want to employ, type of process we want to deliver the food product. For example, sterilized bottle may require 6 months of time, whereas market milk is sufficient to be required to for 3 days of life. So depending upon what life of food product we want, we would choose the type of process we want to employ for validation and the type of process for control measure. Is validation only for microbiological hazard? So we talk of physical, microbiological and chemical, and therefore we need to have limits for physical, chemical and microbiological hazards. If we are talking of limits for physical, chemical and microbiological hazard, then we should have validation also for all these things. So as discussed, chemical and physical hazard also need validation. Sometimes they are historical, sometimes scientifically proven limits. Sometimes they can be organization specific experience through which they can establish that they have achieved these kind of limits or these kind of results with which they can satisfy the process requirement. For example, maximum residue limit of pesticide and heavy metal should follow country regulation. Now these country regulation may differ from country to country. So India may have different pesticide regulation over European countries, and therefore we had a very big fight over Coca-Cola and Pepsi related pesticide residues, and we had a lot of issues. Big scuffle was going on all those areas. Now this maximum residue limit, if we are not validating, every lot of product needs to undergo costly testing from generally outside lab, and the testing of pesticide, heavy metal and all those 40, 50, 100, depending upon what standard you must follow, costs something like 8,000 to 40,000 to 1 lakh, depending upon what customer is looking for. So spending such an amount on every lot is not possible. Then the results generally take 12 to 15 days to come. You cannot keep your food lots after completion for such much number of time, such much number of days. And therefore, validation once a year or twice a year gives you an idea whether your process is suitable to give you a desired food output as you intended. Chemical and physical hazards are also possible to control, and any historically proven limits are considered good for those as well. For example, for metal presence, ferrous or non-ferrous, limits prescribed by US FDA are less than 7 mm. But for grounded iron, ppm allowed in food laws can be referred. Sometimes it is 50 ppm, sometimes it is 70 or 80 ppm. Analysis, we have some metal detectors in client's place, wherein the non-ferrous detection can go up to 3.5, SS can be detected at 2.5, and errors can be detected at 1.8 mm level. So there are equipment which meet the regulatory requirements, which are in tune with scientific finding. And if we employ those kind of equipment, we are able to check whether our food lot that is going out as finished product is well within the range of validation requirement. For flour, etc., wherein we have a lot of wheat or maize or corn and these are maize are same gram. Metal detection is difficult to employ because everything is going into several tubes and generally not a very acceptable practice. There people go for magnet. Whatever limits of whatever deposition are obtained on magnet are weighed. Generally the practice is every 2 hours they are weighed, and the amount of tonnage or the amount of weight that has passed through those magnets in 2 hours are then calculated for ppm levels, and those ppm levels are compared with the regulatory limits, and from there we understand whether we are in the regulation limits or not. But is the validation only for control measure appearing in the process? No. Validation is also for PRP. For example, cleaning validation. You must have heard of lot of time what is cleaning and how you validate the cleaning. So we say that if you have done a good mopping of the floor, you should check whether your mop was effective or not by taking samples, swab samples maybe, or put a plate for environmental monitoring of the environment itself and understand what through a culture growth, what is the organism growth in that particular environment based on 15 minutes or 30 minutes exposure of the plate. And from there you would understand whether your environment or whether your cleaning is sufficient for the required environment or whether required cleaning good or not. Any monitoring whose measure affect food safety therefore can be validated. So validation is to establish limits, to control, add controls of PRP and process controls are adequate and process. Revalidation is done generally annually. It assures PRP and process controls are adequate. It conforms to regulatory requirement. Sometimes the regulation also says that you have to do yearly or half yearly validation. Sometimes your food safety system asks for that. Sometimes your certifying body also guides how that has to be approached. Sometimes scientific and technical developments in the industry all across the world ask you or forces you to consider those developments into your food safety management system, according to which you have to perform validation from time to time to understand whether those scientific and technical development related information is current and is applicable to your process rightly or not. Now we understand verification. The definition is confirmation through the provision of objective evidence that specified requirement have been fulfilled. Now, when we say that we will have some objective evidence, means some evidence is already available. So, in the verification, one need not go and verify what is happening on the process. What somebody else is monitored on the process need to be verified by somebody higher up is the meaning of this statement. I am again reading. Confirmation through the provision of objective evidence that specified requirements have been fulfilled. So this is similar to what we are doing in internal audit. Requirement. Now the heading is going as verification and validation process because that's a seminar heading. But since we have taken verification as the subject of this section of the presentation, we are only talking of verification in subsequent 7-8 slides. So need or expectation that is stated, generally implied or regulatory. This is the meaning of requirement or definition of requirement. Requirement is the word that came in the previous slide. Now, validation is applied prior to an activity and it provides information about the capability to deliver intended result. So validation is something which should be employed even when the process has not started, can be employed when the system is designed in between, when a facility has started working, they've started producing, a consultant is hired, system has to be established, and then consultant wants to understand whether the system, whatever limits they are following are good or not, and validation step is employed to understand and put right kind of control measures. Monitoring is applied during an activity and provides information for action within a specified time frame. So what do we mean by monitoring? For example, operator is on the job at a process step, monitoring various process parameters. Sometimes it may be temperature, sometimes it may be sieve integrity, sometimes it may be magnet deposition, and those readings that he is recording in his logbook is known as monitoring of the process by that operator. Monitoring also has some time requirement. For example, every hour something has to be done, and it also has to follow some target limits. Now I'm talking of target limit, which is different from critical limit. Generally, target limits are stricter over critical limits so that there is some room available for food safety team leader to understand whether there is a room or cushion available, and if something goes wrong at operator level or process level, whether the food still is safe and it can be used. Verification is applied after an activity and provides information for confirmation of conformity. So verification is essentially an audit of monitoring. It applies after an activity. Monitoring is applied during an activity, and verification provides information for confirmation of conformity. So this needs to be understood very clearly. We will see this again in last few slides. We also do verification at different other steps, like we do validation not only at control measure combination, but also for cleaning, but also for environment. Similarly, we do verification of process flow diagram, whether it is right or complete, right and complete. Now this exercise has to be taken once in a year. In HACCP, we used to call it as walk the talk. So we need to understand whether there is any new machine that has come up and is not depicted in your process flow diagram, whether some kind of monitoring step has come into between, or measuring instrument that has come into between and which has not been accounted for in your process flow diagram. All these areas are going to be under verification. Are the control measures working? So you can verify PRP also, effectiveness of hazard and risk management, and training. So if you have a training calendar and the training calendar depicts or says that some 12 trainings were required in 1 year, out of which 4 were refresher training, those 4 refresher training just could not be done. Out of 8 training, other trainings, 3 could not be done. You can have a view whether the verification, through your verification, whether the company is providing right resources, time, and freedom to exercise those things to keep the system moving in the right direction. PRP monitoring is done by your people. For example, glass monitoring, mopping, housekeeping, chemical storage, pest control, all those activities are going on day-to-day basis. Verification gives you an idea whether those activities are done on time, in the right perspective, with the right monitoring parameters. If anything goes wrong, you have an early warning at verification. Generally, internal audit, systems internal audit is done at a frequency of 2 to 3 months to 6 months, and that time period becomes very big. Therefore, this verification is designed as a step in between monitoring and internal audit to ensure that system is in place. Hazard control plan. Definitely, this is the most critical area where verification plays a very important role for OPRP monitoring and CCP monitoring point. which needs to be further verified by a superior to understand whether those points are matching the requirement or not. Are records kept? We need to understand. Verification records may be as simple as signature of the superior to cross-verify the person who is doing the monitoring, or he may develop his own logbook and write what people under him have done. Are the process schedules validated? Is the document appropriate to the operational processes? So you can also apply verification to documentation, you can apply verification to process schedules, you can apply verification to PRP, HRM, training, flow diagram, means each and every activity of food safety management system. Verification ensure that verification activities are not carried out by person responsible for monitoring the same activities. I have already detailed this. We are again reading this. Operator monitors sieve integrity after every lot. Verifier, that is HOD, may cross check it once a week. Magnet catch weighment done every 2 hours. Verifier may witness it once a day, once a week. Verification also include supplier audit evaluation, review of chemical preparation register, process specific audit, systems internal audit, reviewing monitoring and deviation procedures, results of verification for monitoring and measurement methods and equipment. So internal calibration of weight calibration, for example, is in several labs of food business operators. Now those need to be verified whether they are being done. If they are being done, they are recorded properly. If they are being done on regular basis. Then customer complaint analysis, whether they are responded in time, whether the written samples are checked while answering customer complaints, how the corrective actions are being taken, whether those corrective actions are taken to process flow appropriately and related monitoring are improved accordingly. Those things are going to be all part of verification. And as our Appaji Rao Sahab said in some other training, we can also include mock withdrawal and mock drill as required in recall withdrawal plan and emergency preparedness in some other sections of food safety management system. So once we develop a verification plan covering all these areas, the whole system is able to get monitored at a superior level. Verification resulting into failure include OPRP CCP through parameter or testing, and we get a potentially unsafe product. Through a system internal audit, we get a system non-conformity. We get monitoring and deviation procedure, we subject product that may become potentially unsafe, and we may re-establish system requirement. Verification of monitoring measuring equipment may also give potentially unsafe product. So whenever you find anything wrong with as an outcome of verification result, you may then go for next step and understand how the further action has to be taken. Ideally, you should have purpose, method, frequencies, depending upon risk associated with CCP, OPRP, the result of previous audit and customer complaints. Responsibilities, they should be very clearly defined in management system. So some responsibility can be a food safety team leader, some can be given to head of the department, some can be given to cross department, for example, whether the maintenance cleaning is done or not, maintenance cleaning after maintenance is done or not, can be given to the supervisor of the production so that he ensures that maintenance person has cleaned the area after doing the maintenance, and then once he verifies it, then only maintenance person is going to leave the station and his job is considered as complete. So those responsibilities at various levels for various activities need to be given. And record reference. As I told you, verification is not record cross verification alone. It does not mean that an operator has developed a record of monitoring and a verifier in an HOD only asks for that record on his table and just puts a signature of his. Ideally, randomly the verifier or the HOD or whoever is responsible to verify that limit has to go on site, sometimes in review, whatever the reading is, whatever the parameter being monitored by operator is in the right perspective or not. If not, then there is a room for training, improvement, and then the question also arises, what has happened to the product that has gone by from that particular point? So it is not record cross verification alone. It as well involves cross verifying process parameter sometime, and you need to go to the process physically. Then there is a requirement of analysis also. So once the record is in front of you, you might see that there is a trend of increased weight over every 2-hour period from the last 3 shifts. Then you need to see what has gone wrong with the machine. You may call your maintenance person and understand whether the machine has to be stopped for some time and checked whether some part wear tear is more and something needs to be done for that. Verification. Food safety team to conduct analysis of verification activities. It gives input to food safety management system performance and is also an input to management review meeting. So it is an essential input to management review meeting. Also, post internal audit non-conformity clearance requires a verification, on-site verification or document verification, and that also should be done seriously. As I told you, we need to analyze the monitoring results. Similarly, when we analyze the verification result, we have a room for updation of the food safety management system. This completes the whole cycle of verification validation. We started with definition. Where all it applies, in control measure it applies, at PRP it applies, at operator level it applies, then it goes to HOD. Then what happens when it fails? Then what happens if the verification results are also in hand and if they need to be analyzed, and then they can become updation to our food safety management system. So start of food safety establishment to updation of food safety management system. Every activity can have a signature of verification and validation as applicable. Now we will have a small discussion on responsibility, activity, do's and don'ts, and then we summarize. As we discuss, verification must be part of managerial team. Somebody higher up in the organization should take the metal for acting as verifier. Any person at a lower level may not be taken seriously, may not understand the significance of the verification requirement, and therefore may not be able to do justice with the requirement. So when we say control actions flows from regulatory to managerial to technical to process, and finally we get a control process which is operated by operator. That operator has a technical guidance coming from technical team. Technical team establishes food safety system, but that food safety system has parameters which need to be controlled, which are verified by managerial team to understand whether the system is in control or not, and something needs to be done about it, and then they ensure the sanctity of it. And sometimes it can go up to regulatory when things are not practically possible, and you need to tell regulation that it has to be amended, or if you have done some advancement and you have done better out of it, you can improve your regulation again. Give me a minute. So I have recorded responsibilities of managers in validation and verification. Those responsible for validation needs to study literature, needs to understand testing, then develop equivalence in environment, conditions, literature, etc. They need to review corrective action that they have obtained. They need to revalidate limits periodically, and they need to ask management for literature support. For example, subscription to journals, going to seminars, conferences, advanced equipment if technology needs it. Those responsible for verification, they need to verify processes, quality outcome at designated time. They need to verify record of parameters. They need to review the process and process output. For example, food material, if NC is observed, they need to bring back the system on track through training, counseling, etc. Actions after validation and verification. If the validation is right, you can continue as it is. If there are some technological advancement, ask for better process equipment. For example, some limits have improved technologically, scientifically, and therefore they have a reflection in your regulatory requirements. Then probably your process would call for controlling those limits in the process so that they do not go into finished product. In that case, you might need to ask for better equipment from your management. You need to probably ask for better laboratory equipment if the costs are coming very high, or if your testing results are, if your results, your laboratory is not quite equipped and the food product needs to wait quite long. You might need to refix limits as per changes in scientific findings and regulation from time to time. Verification, you might continue as it is if the system is perfectly fine. If confidence on the system is improved, you may review testing frequency or verification frequency. If the time of monitoring is 1 hour, and if you think that process is stable, established, and operator can handle a larger area, you can decrease the frequency, make it 2 hours. If the verification results throw non-compliance, look for reason in practice, behavior, tradition, culture, and address that methodically. Sometimes it is not necessary that an operator may be guilty only. You have to look at culture and tradition of that particular area also and understand what is the reason, underlying reason behind somebody's behavior. And therefore, I have written behavior, tradition, culture, all needs to be taken care of while addressing why a particular person at that particular station is not working as intended and we are not getting the process as we desire, and therefore monitoring is not suitable, and therefore verification does not throw right kind of results. Sometimes reward and punishment may also be resorted to. There are some do's and don'ts. I have listed them. Divide validation and verification into separate tasks. So we have to have different people. Or if the same people are there in very small organization, they have to have different hats. They should not do both the things together. Think of validation as your scientific evidence and prove the system. Control the hazards. Think of verification as an audit process. Use science-based information to support the initial validation. Use management to participate in validation development and operations of verification. Once you involve management also, they will have more respect for food because they are in touch with their customers and customers throw the complaints to them. Once they know what is the step at which some negligence is happening, which is resulting into complaint at the customer place, they would be able to understand how they have to put their people into better command, and their voice is definitely going to be heard in a more serious way. Use lessons from near misses and corrections to adjust and improve the food safety system. These are some don'ts. Don't confuse the activities of verification with those of routine monitoring. So routine monitoring is generally done by operators and verification is generally done once in a day or once a week. It can be done through record verification as well as going on the site. Don't rely only on literature or studies that are unlike your process product to prove controls are valid. You have to have your process related documentation or literature, or you might need to further validate it. Don't conduct audit processes and then not review the result. So conduct the audit and then follow it up with reviewing of the result. Perform corrective action, but do not limit yourself without determining if a system change may be needed to fix a problem. So do not just take a corrective action without determining if the system needs to be changed. Do not forget, reanalysis is done every 3 years or sooner if information or problem suggests. So verification or validation is a requirement which needs to be revalidated 6 monthly, yearly. 3 year becomes too long a period generally, and therefore this thing is being talked of. To summarize, generally using tools for validation and verification requires science-based approach with food safety expertise, literature, in-house data, models, regulatory sources, and other references. Generally, this is done by scientists, professors, experts, consultants. Sometimes a very senior person in the food safety for years together experience can also handle it. Then validation is doing the right thing to control the hazard, including scientific proof of control and effectiveness. A manager that may not be member of food safety team, rather should not be member of food safety team, must take up this charge and do this activity. Verification, confirmation the food safety plan is implemented and is being followed. A manager who may be member of food safety team or somebody who is higher up in the for that operator in question can do it, but away from or different from the manager who is into validation, preferably. Then managing the food safety system through culture and training, food safety coordination and team approach, verification by auditing the system, managing change through reanalysis and correction can go through operator performing day-to-day activity under supervision of supervisors. Verification, therefore, or though is but done by manager. We can see it like this also. Initially, when we establish the system, we validate and establish verification requirements. When we want to perform the system, we have validation. So this is the second tile behind it. Whether the system is, when the system is implemented, followed, we check it through verification. We further validate it after 1 year, whether the system is still under control, hazards are still under control, and we audit and check whether this validation, what we have done for system, continues to give us good system further, and this is how this continuous improvement culture goes. So validation and verification goes hand in hand. Validation is lesser than activity, some 6 months to 1 year, start of the operation. Verification is a relatively regular activity, maybe daily or weekly, but not very frequently as monitoring. And this is the basic difference between verification and validation. And it applies to various requirements of food safety management system, for example, PRP also, cleaning also, and many other aspects that we have talked about. So with this, I thank you and open for question and answers. Some questions I would request Madam Sonia to also take up if possible, so that we together give you a very good satisfactory response.
Yes, sir. Somebody has raised hand.
Yeah, go ahead.
People can raise questions.
Kaustubhji has written, validation is generally done by a robust challenge process. Thank you, sir. Yes, I accept this. Very good point.
Hello.
Yeah.
Yes, Yogesh. Actually, I was trying to unmute myself in last 2-3 minutes. Okay, I just wanted to add a few basic things. Very well covered all related aspects. Now, for simple understanding about the difference between this verification, validation, and monitoring, sometime, if we can relate this context to the PDCA, because nowadays most of the management systems are based on PDCA, plan, do, check, act. So we see in the context of PDCA.
Hello. Is now hello. There is no sound.
Madam, unmute yourself. Yeah, it's okay now.
So I was relating that this validation, monitoring and verification can be very well connected or related to the PDCA to understand the basic difference. That validation is a part of planning, monitoring is a part of doing, and verification is a part of checking. So for every process, when we apply PDCA, similarly, these three terms are related to that particular process. Needs to validate, then we need to monitor, doing, and then checking. And basically this verification itself will give you the revalidation triggers. So that is why validation and verification are always used together, because with the process or during the process of verification itself, we come to know whether we need to revalidate the system or it is still going as per the planning. For example, if you have validated some sanitization process or some sanitizer strength, now during verification, during microbiological analysis, you come to know, okay, few samples are not getting passed through those microbiological results or microbiological tests. That means there is some problem related to my validation. So that verification result will give me triggers for revalidation. So this is a kind of continuous loop which is actually working like a PDCA. Or for most of the questions, so somebody was asking about the difference. I think the difference is already very much discussed.
Madam has already given an example, Mr. Vijay Suryavanshi. Hope it is very clear to you now.
You can
Hello.
unmute yourself
You
and
can
ask
unmute
questions.
yourself. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hi, this is Kaustubh Kode. So can I contribute to the examples discussion, because a couple of people have asked that.
Welcome,
Yes,
sir.
yes.
Welcome.
So for example, validation, as I've mentioned, is generally through more robust process. So for example, if you want to carry out microbiological validation, then you either introduce challenge organisms and then verify if the let's say sterilization process is effective at the end of it, and test it for the presence or absence of those microorganisms. And when doing this, you are introducing a known concentration of the or known microbial load, and then you validate at the end of the process. You check at the end of the process whether they have been sufficiently attenuated or killed. So this is a validation process. Or for example, if you have a cleaning process, you introduce contaminants, and then you check at the end of the cleaning process whether sufficient cleaning has been demonstrated. So this is how you carry out a validation process. It typically starts with establishing a protocol. So as Madam mentioned, it's the planning phase. So you need to establish a proper protocol, how it will be done, what are the challenges that you'll be introducing, what will be checked at the end of it, how it will be run through the process, and then at the end of it, when you're checking all of this, that by itself also will be an example of verification. And generally, verification is carried out by somebody who is independent of the activity which is being done. As also mentioned by Mr. Jain, generally for the success and robustness of the process, verification is generally done by, let's say, if it is the operator, then the verification is done by the supervisor or the manager. Or for example, even if there's a batch production record and let's say it is being checked by the production manager or later by the QA or QC team, then that is an example of a verification process. So I thought I'll just try and help to clarify these points. Thank you.
Thanks a lot, sir. Madam, something to add from your side?
I think enough examples have been discussed. Still, if anybody is having doubt or any scenario or any example or any process they have in their mind, we can always discuss that also. Though these terms are easy to discuss and present, but definitely it's a big work in the organization. And everybody is having a specific responsibility. Verification, somebody is having responsibility, validation, somebody. So there should not be a mix-up kind of thing in the organization. Problem occurs when there is a single or a 1 or 2 person doing all those activities of monitoring, verification, validation. So they get confused more in these terms. So any other example, anything anybody else wants to discuss? We are open to that.
We still have time. Any queries can be answered here.
Yeah. So somebody was asking that validation is a one-time activity. So it's not a one-time activity. Whenever there are changes in the system, whenever there is changes in the process or anything, you need to revalidate. As I given you the example that sometimes during verification, we come to know that the things which have been validated are not working perfectly okay as per the plan. So at that time also you again need to revalidate the thing. So it is a continuous process, but not a one-time process.
Generally in a system, we need to also devise some revalidation frequency, even if nothing goes wrong. So every 6 months or 1 year, we send samples for revalidation to ensure that system, everything is all right.
Things actually which are based on validation of legal requirements, they are more or less same. Whenever there will be change in the legal requirement, things may change in our organization. Yes. So they are more or less fixed, but otherwise if we have validated internally anything, that may needs to review every year sort of thing.
And one, hello.
Yeah, continue.
Yeah, ma'am, I'm Ashish Vardhan. And one thing I just want to say that because nowadays COVID-19 is going on, so due to this, we'll have to change the validity process also. I think we should validate the process again just due to this COVID-19 and all.
So definitely, which is related to your hand sanitization, you may need to go for revalidations. Yeah. Related to your contact surfaces sanitization and cleaning.
Hygiene side we'll have
hygiene
to work.
Systems, yes.
Yeah.
Maybe processes will not be affected, but definitely.
Yes. We'll have to reset the protocol. Basically, I just want to say somewhere somehow.
Yeah. One Umesh is asking, can you help elaborate using filtration step to distinguish between validation and verification?
So validation means you are fixing the size of the filter so that you will get the desired product size based on maybe it's a powder or something. And verification is
man.
So verification in this sense is again you are checking your sieve analysis and doing all those analysis related to that particular product and process.
May I interrupt a little?
Yes, please.
Sorry, I was a little late.
Generally for liquid media.
No, it's not just liquid. Just by the principle of it, let me explain. Now in 22,000, it is clearly stated that validation is to be carried out before the process is implemented, not afterwards.
Right, sir.
It has to be validated prior to implementation. That is the language of.
That is why it is a part of planning itself.
No, that's okay. But validate once you implement, and if you are not validate, you are left with only verifying whether the results are coming out of okay or not.
Right.
So the terminology here in food safety, revalidation does not exist. Please remember that term. There is no term of revalidation in food safety. Once you fix something, the fixation itself, the validation is over. Then you have to implement. Without validation, you cannot implement. So please understand, validation is to ensure that future is always right. Whereas verification is to understand what has happened is correctly happened or not. Whereas monitoring means what is happening now when the process is going on, that is perfectly doing or not. That these are the different terms for verification, monitoring, and yes, absolutely. Once you are running and your commercial going on, afterwards you would like to validate, there is no meaning to it. That's what the standard is saying.
Correct. I will also add.
I'm sorry.
Hello.
I differ from that opinion. So I agree with you that validation has to be done prior to establishing any process. Absolutely valid point. However, periodic revalidation is done because.
Sorry. May I know your background?
Can I justify my statement?
I'm
Why
justifying.
I said that? Yeah.
Please understand. Let's go by the standard. Let's not go by engineering terms now here.
No. What happens is process parameters start changing over a period of time.
So that is a change, means new. Means that is new.
So which is why you have to revalidate periodically to see whether the process is delivering what it is supposed to deliver.
Sir, please remember the terminology of the standard clearly says if there is any change, then it has to be validated again prior to implementation. So please understand the terms in the standard.
Sir, both of you just try to understand. I will simplify since I am from pharma background. Validation is.
Oh, madam, pharma is not the thing in validation.
No, sir, validation, what I understood, I just want to express my thoughts. I'm not telling this is right and this is wrong, okay? So I'm just expressing that validation means it is a documented evidence which provides you the consistent result as per the predefined specification.
Okay, so that which will confirm.
And sir, again, sir, this is validation, what we learned, and verification means whatever we have designed already. Say for example, specifications are already there and your method is already official in some monograph, IPBP, wherever, okay? So we have to just verify the result.
So that comes under verification only in food safety.
Yeah, this is verification. And validation means we have to perform validation, all the processes, analytical method, technology transfer, everywhere validation is must before you commercialize any product, sir. That is what is my understanding. Correct?
Yes, it is right.
I would come in between. We have various experts over here and they are all very much experienced.
Not go by the expert word. Please.
No, what I am trying to say
is... Let's go by the standard wording, sir.
But
what I am trying to say is, we are almost time constrained and should be finished in 1 minute or so.
Yes.
What I would say is, everybody holds to their view and go back to whatever is required in the standard. And
we have to deal by the standard.
Yeah.
But here we are not discussing only ISO standard. The overall objective of these two terms are discussed.
What I am trying to say is, let us be open to recalibrate ourselves if need be and hold to our point if need be. And then let us have those people in the forum who need to really understand if they are very new to this concept. If those are experts who have their views, let them retain some views, let them correct their own views if needed, and we keep it at that level as of now.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir. Can we close it here?
Please, sir, please.
Yeah, once again.
Thank you all.
Thank you. Once again, thank you, sir. This is Nambi from CCC. On behalf of CCC and myself and the participants, I thank you, Mr. Yogesh Jain and Sonia ji, for giving us
it's a very nice presentation.
Thanks a lot.
The next seminar.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
The next seminar tomorrow would be on product safety in packaging industry. Zoom ID and password remain same. Thank you very much for your participation. Thank you. See you tomorrow.
Thank you. Thanks to all.
Thank you, Nambi sir. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you.